CNN 10. We are a 10-minute objective explanation of news from around the world, and I'm your host, Carl Azuz. Thank you so much for watching today. We know that thousands, if not millions of you are watching from home right now. Obviously, I'm not in our studio at CNN Center. Canceled, postponed, and closed are three of the words being used worldwide for events, flights, businesses, and schools. COVID-19 is the technical term for the new coronavirus we've been reporting on, and that's the reason for the shutdowns that are taking place. Last Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a national emergency, the goal to, quote, unleash the full power of the federal government to address the coronavirus pandemic. What this means is that government funding will be sped up to the state and local leaders who are working to stop the spread of this disease. Relaxed rules for hospitals are also part of this effort. There haven't been enough testing kits to keep up with demand in many parts of the country, and critics have blamed the Trump administration for not doing enough to increase testing. The White House says it plans to work with private companies to get more tests out there. Drive-through coronavirus testing sites will be part of that. The government also announced more restrictions on travel from Europe.
We've recognized, our health experts tracking global data, that the epicenter of the coronavirus has shifted from China and South Korea to Europe.
France, Italy, and Spain have told people to stay home. Restaurants, cafes, and movie theaters have been closed in these countries. Officials are hoping that by keeping people from gathering in large groups, there will be less of a chance that those who have the disease will spread it. There are roughly 3,000 coronavirus cases in America, and there have been more than 60 deaths. The age group in the greatest danger from this disease is the elderly. As of Sunday, coronavirus cases have been confirmed in every state except West Virginia. This is why so many schools are closed this week. Health officials say COVID-19 is not the deadliest disease in the world, but because the virus is so new, no one really has an immunity to it. The Food and Drug Administration says there are no vaccines or drugs that it has approved to fight the coronavirus. In a recent CNN town hall event on Facebook, doctors teamed up to answer some of the questions being asked about this pandemic.
If you think you're infected, you're symptomatic, fever, cough, headache, and so you self-quarantine, how soon before you can return to social situations? Is it safe to say that when you're no longer symptomatic, then you're no longer potentially shedding the virus?
You can get infected, become symptomatic, resolve the symptoms, feel well, and still shed virus. You can go back to your normal life when you have 2 consecutive tests for the coronavirus that are negative, separated by 24 hours.
Is it reasonable to expect COVID-19 to die down during the summer months, or is that just wishful thinking?
Something the president has sort of said that this may just disappear.
I wish that were the case, but at this point, we just don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know that we know for certain either way.
Possible because other viruses in the past have done this?
Yeah, including other coronaviruses, right? I mean, even if you look at the SARS coronavirus, it did have sort of its peak, correct me if I'm wrong, late March, early April, as the weather started to get warmer.
That's right, but we don't know, and I don't think we can count on this either.
My question for you is that I'm taking a direct flight from Delhi to New York City on Tuesday. Is that a good idea? And also, what can I expect when I land at JFK?
Really good questions. And I know that the CDC has come out with guidance saying that those who are older, who have chronic medical conditions, should avoid these long-haul flights. And I don't know with the questioner what other medical conditions you might have, but I think for everyone who's abroad, it's a question of what else is going on in their lives. As in, if their whole families are here and if their medical care is in the US, even if they have these chronic medical conditions, they may still want to fly back and be with their families.
It's also for travel stuff, it's not just the question of, is this safe for me to fly? If by flying, am I endangering anybody else? It's also just logistically, might I get caught somewhere that suddenly goes into lockdown and then I can't get back to my home country?
Well, I'm wondering if you can be a bit more specific about what constitutes a pre-existing health condition that would have someone be at greater risk regarding the severity, of course, and the possible fatality of COVID-19. So, for example, asthma. We know that we have 25 million people or more who are impacted by this disease. Is this the type of disease that we're talking about would have cause more complications?
Yeah, I mean, asthma, obviously, there are different degrees of asthma. I mean, if someone who, whenever they get an upper respiratory infection, really dramatically exacerbates their asthma, I think you would say that that person would be at a higher risk. The classical ones are things like chronic congestive heart failure, chronic pulmonary disease, diabetes, and anybody who really is on any immunosuppressive regimen.
Since all the cleaning supplies and hand sanitizer is sold out everywhere, can you make your own?
I've heard so many stories of people looking for any product that they can use to clean their house, and hand sanitizers. People are going all over the place and not getting them. Do not make your own hand sanitizer, because there's something that's even more effective, which is soap and water.
Right.
10-second trivia. Who is the current U.S. Treasury Secretary? Jack Lew, Steven Mnuchin, Mike Pompeo, or Jerome Powell? Since 2017, Steven Mnuchin has served as the 77th Secretary of the Treasury. With so many closures worldwide related to coronavirus, business in some areas has ground to a halt. And this has some economic analysts asking, are we headed for a recession? That's a decrease in economic activity. It could last for months, it could last longer. Yesterday on ABC's program This Week, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin was asked if the U.S. is in a recession, and he said he did not think so. He added that later this year, economic activity would pick up as the U.S. confronts the virus. But for the time being, some analysts are saying a recession caused by coronavirus is possible.
The U.S. economy is grinding to a halt on purpose to fight the spread of coronavirus, something that could tip the U.S. economy into recession. Notable economist Mohamed El-Erian tells us a global recession is very, very likely.
Now, first, I think a global recession is unfortunately very, very likely.
Here's how that could happen. Let's use sports as an example. The NBA, the NHL, March Madness, baseball, canceled or delayed. That's not just players and fans. It's the hotel cancellations. It's the empty restaurants. It's the supply chain before big events, the vendors, the ushers, the other hourly workers who may have to go without pay. They, in turn, have less money to spend. This hurts the economy far and wide. Social distancing has the travel industry in a rough patch not seen since the days after 9/11. Airlines are slashing flights as demand disappears. Hotel and cruise line bookings have collapsed, and some cruise operators are canceling cruises through May. Airlines have hiring freezes. Norwegian Air is temporarily laying off up to half its workers. Thousands of schools are closed, millions of Americans working from home. Avoiding public places will hurt sales at restaurants, retailers, malls, other public venues, and idle millions of Americans who work there. In short, a stopped economy cannot grow, and that will likely lead to a recession.
These are not normal times worldwide, but they are bringing out the best in those people who are willing to help. These folks in Italy, for example, who are under lockdown, are applauding all of the medical workers out caring for the sick. One woman in Oregon went into a store and did the grocery shopping for an elderly couple who were afraid to go inside. And with schools out, there are concerns that students on free or reduced price lunch programs might not get enough to eat. Basketball star Steph Curry and his wife are among those people helping raise money in relief for that. The hashtag CoronaKindness is being used in social media to draw attention to stories like these, and we think those who are participating are kind of like Fridays. They're awesome. It is this kind of kindness, when kind people help others in kind out of the kindness of their hearts, that kind of makes this kind of situation almost kind of bearable. We hope all of you stay healthy and that you'll check back here for more updates as we continue to produce episodes of CNN 10. One more thing. Emerson High School in Emerson, Arkansas. You guys are Pi Radical. Thanks to you and everyone around the world for watching us today. I'm Carl Azuz for CNN.